All right, hey again, 6A. So hopefully you already watched my video on mean, median, mode, and range. Those are going to be really helpful for you. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some of the ways that you might see those numbers when we put them more into like a graphed out form. There's a few different ways that we can actually display the data that we have. You saw in my last video that sometimes you might just see a list of numbers, but sometimes they might actually show it to you in a visual type of way. So we're going to take a look at a few of those. Now, this example that I am going over, you can either just follow along with me on the computer, or if you have that packet from the first week, you can go ahead and get that out. The very first packet that the district went over, I did not go over that packet with you the first week after spring break. Excuse me, but if you have it, go ahead and you can get that out and we can take a look at that together. So we're going to look at the different ways that we can be displaying data. So there's some key vocabulary I want to talk about. When we talk about data, what that really is it's just some facts and values that we can collect together to analyze. So it's really just a bunch of different numbers or maybe people are answering a question. We can collect all of that and we can analyze that, right? We can find that center. Where is the middle of our data? How spread out is it? Which one do we see the most, right? All of those things tell us a lot about the data that we collected. So for example, this can be important when maybe we are, say you own a business and you're trying to figure out the different ages of people that come to your business, right? If you're trying to market and make money, you want to be marketing to the people that are coming to you, right? Or if you have a YouTube channel, right? Maybe you want to market to the ages of the people that are primarily watching your channel, right? So that can be really important. If you have all of the ages, right, you can say, okay, well, what's the spread between the youngest people that are watching and the biggest people are watching, right? If that spread's pretty small, and that tells you really have a pretty small group of people that are watching your videos. Like for me, probably the range for my videos is pretty small because I mostly would just have sixth graders watching, right? Or the mode, what age of people are watching the most, right? That tells me, well, if there's mostly 12-year-olds watching, right, then that helps me know who I'm trying to get to watch my videos. Okay, so that's just an example of how we are using data. Okay, there are three different ways. I mean, there's more than three, but the three different ways that I'm going to go over with you this morning of how to display that data is a dot plot, a stem and leaf plot, and a box plot. Okay, we're going to, in your packet for this week, the two that you're going to see the most are the dot plot and the box plot, but I do also want to quickly go over a stem and leaf plot with you. So let's take a look at this example. This is on the page 323. It's not in this current packet. It's in the packet that the district handed out right after spring break. So if you have it, great. If you don't, totally fine. Okay, so they say the amounts of money that 13 students paid for used DVDs are shown below in dollars. The price of each DVD is $5. Okay, every DVD is $5. So they gave us all the data below, right? 25, 15, 5, 20. They listed out all of those numbers, kind of like you've already seen below or saw in my previous video. Now, the three different ways that they show us here, the dot plot is this first one at the top. Oop. This is a dot plot. So what they did was they literally took every number, right? So they took 25 and they put a dot at the 25, right? Then they took the 15 and they put a dot at 15. They did that for every single number until they finished, right? 5, 20, 10, 25. Right when they had a second 25, then they just put another dot at 25. That's how they ended up with the picture that you see here, okay? They just put a dot at all of those. Pretty simple, okay? The next one is a stem plot, or you might see a stem and leaf plot. Okay, the stem in this case, right? They give us this little key, which is important. The key is that the one on the left of the line here, this one is in the one with a 0 is 10. So that means that my stem here is all in the tens place. And that means that my leaves are all my ones, okay? So when they took 25, they'd had the tens would be this 2, right? So next to where I have a 2 in my tens place, notice that I have 1, 5, right? Where I have 10, here's my 15. I know it looks a little bit funny, but that's because when they finished this, right, when they finished putting all of those, all of my leaves, noticed, are from smallest to biggest, okay? So all of those leaves are from smallest to biggest. So that is the stem and leaf plot. Sometimes your stem might be hundreds. It's usually whatever is that biggest place value, but not always. You could have a stem that's a 10, right? But if you have a 10 with a 5 and a leaf, then that would be 105. So there's lots of ways you could see it. The biggest thing is you've got to take a look at that key at the bottom to help you with that. Lastly, we have a box plot. This one is a lot different, and there's a lot of box plots in your packet for this week. So I'm going to spend a little bit more time going over that box plot. But basically, the box plot, the very middle line right here is the median, right? We figured out how to find the median. So I know that the median is 15. It's whatever is that middle line of your box, okay? So here's the box. You might also see that's the box, and some people will call these the whiskers, you know, like the whiskers of a cat, okay? So the box and the whiskers. The median is right in the middle. What is right here is we call those the quartiles. So this would be quartile 1, and this is quartile 3, which is tricky because technically quartile 2 is the median, right? 50%, half of your data is inside of this box, right? So half of my data, when I list out all of my original data from smallest to biggest, the middle half of it, literally half of those numbers, are going to be inside that box. This one that you see here, this 5, is your minimum, that smallest number that you have, right? 5 is definitely the smallest number that we have in our plot, and 25 is the max, the biggest number that we see. Okay, so I know that that's a little bit tricky, but basically that quartile 1 is like the median of the first half of the data, and that quartile 3 is the median of the second half of the data. And I know that's a little tricky. I would go ahead and hop on Khan Academy and take a look at that video that I assigned to you on the quartiles if you want some more information on that. So if I'm answering some questions, which graph is easiest to use to find the median? Well, the box plot is really simple, right? Because literally, you just look for that line, and it tells me the median. So in this case, a box plot would probably be the easiest. However, we can still find a median from a dot plot or a stem and leaf plot. We would just have to go, just like from my list, go from the biggest and smallest and cross out one at a time until we find that middle number. Which graph would you want to use if you wanted to know how many students spent less than $10? Okay, if I want to know how many students spent less than $10, you could use either the dot plot or the stem plot, because in this case, I see here's my $10 or here is my $10. Less than that would be these two kids right here. Each leaf is going to be one piece of data. Or the dot plot is pretty simple. Less than 10 would be just those 2 dots. So in this case, the answer would be 2 students. Either of those is easy to count and see how many pieces of data you have. Which graph shows the amount of money that the most number of students spent? Probably for sure the dot plot would be the easiest for this one, because you can literally just see which number has the most dots. 20. So that would be 4 students spent $20. Okay, you can also see that right here with these 4 zeros here. It's just not quite as easy to see. Now, I know that was a lot of an overview. Like I said, Khan Academy is going to be super helpful. I do want to take a look really quick at our packet from this week. at those box plots. So let's jump on over to, where is my box plot? Here it is, page 331. That's in your packet for this week. It looks like this. I want you to read that on your own, so if you need to pause that and read it, go for it. Okay, so now I want to quickly go over that quartiles again with you. The median, like I said from before, is that middle number. So you can see that they found the median by slowly crossing out numbers until they found the one that was right in the middle. So my median is 13, and that is this line right here. Okay, so you can see that those are the same. Now, the minimum, the smallest number, is 4, and that's where they put that dot for the whisker. The maximum is that 38, which we can see is that whisker on the very end. I want to talk about that quartile though, right? Half of the data is in the middle of there. So what they did was now they took a look at all these numbers from the minimum up to that number right before the median, and they basically found the median of those. So they said, well, let's find the middle of both of those, and it's 10, right? They did the same thing from this 15 all the way to the 38. They said, what number is right in the middle of those? And it's 27. And that's how they got my 10 and my 27 there, okay? So then when they say half the data, they mean literally from this 10 to the 27. Those are the numbers that are kind of shown in the spread of that box there. Check out Khan Academy. I would love for you guys to get some more information. Please reach out if you have any questions. I know that all of this is new. Hopefully I'll be able to talk to you guys soon and answer all the questions that you have. You guys are doing great. Thank you for all the hard work that you've been putting in while we've been gone, and I would love to chat with you. So reach out.